Economic chaos continues as you know who slaps a 104% tariff on China. But last night, he stuck by his story that all of this is going according to plan. Take a look.
These countries are calling us up, kissing my ass. They are dying to make a deal. Please, please, sir, make a deal. I'll do anything. I'll do anything, sir. And then I'll see some rebel Republican, you know, some guy that wants to grandstand, say, I think that Congress should take over negotiations. Let me tell you, you don't negotiate like I negotiate.
Well, you know, I don't know if they're all kissing his ass to do this, but it seems like even his top advisors cannot figure out what is going on here. What is the plan? And the White House is trying to clean things up, apparently, after Elon Musk and trade advisor Peter Navarro got into a public war of words. Take a look at this.
The American people understand that Elon's a car manufacturer, but he's not a car manufacturer, he's a car assembler.
Musk actually referred to Navarro today as being, quote, dumber than a sack of bricks. Are you at all, or is the administration, the president, all concerned that this is maybe impacting the public's understanding of these tariffs? It might be messing with the message on it?
No, look, these are obviously two individuals who have very different views on trade and on tariffs. Boys will be boys, and we will let their public sparring continue. And you guys should all be very grateful that we have the most transparent administration in history.
Boys will be, these are not boys. These are grown men. So I'm not sure that boys will be boys is gonna fly, but you know, what the hell do I know?
Well, first of all, in order to kiss his ass, you have to get Mike Johnson out of the way. That's number one. Number two, what is his exact plan is what I want to know.
Yeah.
I was home, I had a cold yesterday, so I was home watching everything. And I'm thinking, he's trying to destroy the country. Now, why is he doing that? Just as a person in the audience, like, watching this.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of theories.
Yes, and
Like,
what's... Yeah,
first of all, if he tanks the entire, what do you call it?
Economy,
the stock market,
What
then
happens?
all his billionaire friends can swoop in and buy everything low. That's not an original idea. That's Hakeem Jeffries said that. And the other thing, and in fact, today on Truth Social, Trump wrote, a great time to buy. The other theory is from James Carville, which I think is interesting, that he wants to stoke such instability and chaos to consolidate power for himself, so that people start to really go nuts, which we're starting to.
No, we're not.
Well, people are starting to get mad.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
You want them to get mad.
But how mad will people get, and how broke will people get, and how many jobs will be lost? And then he can say, well, there's too much chaos, and now we're going to have martial law in this country, and he becomes a dictator. I mean, I don't know. That may be out of the bounds.
Anything is possible.
But it's possible.
Yeah.
So somebody watching the news, that's what I see.
I'm going to be honest, though, the poor and the rich alike are losing money. Elon Musk might have lost more money than anyone else on the planet in the stock market. But by the way, but that's the point.
Yeah.
He's even hurting his wealthy friends. And anyone saying buy the dip, do not buy the dip. It keeps dipping lower. You will actively lose money. The best thing people can be doing is sitting back, calling their congressman and saying, please use your congressional power to push back on these tariffs that are going to move this economy back to like 100 years ago. But I know Peter Navarro well. I shared this with you. I am in no way surprised that global markets are in a free fall because he is the driving force behind these tariffs. This is a person that we would actively try to keep away from President Trump.
Is it that he doesn't understand?
He does understand. By the way, he was
Economics?
a lifelong Democrat,
Navarro.
but he's one of these...
Navarro.
Yes, Navarro. But he's one of these old school, like, just thinks we can be a purely protectionist nation that does no foreign trade with any other nation on earth. That does not work in an interconnected global economy. And people from all over Trump's orbit are coming out and saying, this guy ain't smart. And Elon Musk, who I don't agree with on much of anything, I don't know why he's overseeing Doge. I'd actually love to hear from him on tariffs. He has experience running a business. He employs 100,000 people in this country. He understands supply chains. That's someone who, this would be a good time for him to chime in and
He wants a zero tariff for everyone.
He doesn't want any tariffs.
But I also think it's interesting in that soundbite, Trump was saying, you know, nobody negotiates like me. But he said multiple times he's not negotiating. So I don't, this is part of the problem, is that it's all chaotic. like. Tariffs could be in your toolbox. You could use these in a strategic way, but he's so zero-sum in his thinking that he slaps it on everyone. Not Russia, but like all of our allies, all of these other people. And he just does it so like
willy-nilly.
Willy-nilly, but he's also, I was just having this conversation this morning. So you're watching as Republicans in Congress are starting to turn. You know, Tom Tillis, I think, do we have a clip of that, Brian?
I'm assuming this all got gamed out because it's a novel approach. It needed to be thought out. Whose throat do I get to choke if this proves to be wrong? It just seems like we've decided to begin a trade war on all fronts. And that's okay if the person who thought this through has an answer for why you go after partners that we have a very long storied relationship with. I wish you well, but I am skeptical.
Yeah. Well, and he's not alone. There's a lot of other Congress people. You're watching voters start to recognize because they voted in on a tough economy that they felt was not in great shape. And now this is happening, which is the opposite. You're also watching the billionaires fall by the wayside. They're all calling out on him and saying, we're losing billions. So I don't know if it's like equal opportunity offense to everyone. It might be Joyce theory.
I don't think he knows what he's doing. You know, I mean, he bankrupted. What we keep on failing to remember is that he bankrupted 2 casinos. He had 6 bankruptcies. Nobody does that. He's just not a good business person. He doesn't understand economics. His professor at Wharton Business School basically said he was the dumbest student he'd ever had in his career. And I mean, these are just facts. So Trump definitely doesn't understand economics. He's listening to someone who you say doesn't understand economics. And so there is no end plan. There is no game plan. He doesn't know how to negotiate. He couldn't negotiate himself out of a paper bag. But the issue here...
But his narcissism prevents him from listening to people.
From admitting that.
Yes.
And to Whoopi's point at the very beginning, meaning that clip that we played, that he's saying, you know, everybody's kissing my butt. They're actually not, because China has accused the United States of blackmail and declared that Beijing would fight to the end. The Canadian Prime Minister, Mark Carney, has said its friendship with the U.S. is over. Australia's Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, said Trump's tariffs have no basis in logic, are not the act of a friend, and he called them totally unwarranted. Macron from France, he said the tariffs are brutal and unfounded.
Who said this? We went from the envy of the world to the enemy of the world.
Yes,
Who said that?
I don't know who said that, but what I will say, from my perspective, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, no country can count on America anymore. They're going to ice us out economically. We're going to be on our own because they're not going to be able to depend on a country that every 4 years could elect a dictator. They can't rely upon us.
Well, the problem is the damage in many ways is done. So say he realizes what he's done and lifts these tariffs. You've already lost trillions in wealth. That is not coming back. People have lost as much as 30% in their retirement accounts. And then these relationships that we've damaged, we're pushing our allies into each other's arms away from us, and we're frankly putting China in a greater place to
this
compete
is
against.
what I'm going to say about this.
Yeah.
All you countries who watch us, this is not our wish.
No, it's not.
This is not what the American people want. We don't like it. We don't like how it's being, we don't like how this is being done. That's why you will hear us kvetching about this as long as we are able, because no one we're talking to understands what's going on, and therefore, when they say America, they're not talking about us. They are talking about that very narrow band of America that they think they represent, that I think they don't realize they're starting to lose.